episode from yesterday where she reviewed a debate between Tucker Carlson and Piers Morgan, related it to Israel, and effectively blanketly called anyone who supports Israel evil. Okay, so we're going to get into that. We're going to react to what she has to say, and then we're going to review some of my footage from UCLA back in June. I'm going to be putting together kind of a timeline of events and things that happened to me, and I figured that might be something you guys want to watch. I have to do it anyway, so I figured I'd do it on stream. So without further ado, we're just going to get into it. And guys, also make sure to join the Discord. It is in the link in the description. Make sure to join that Discord if you enjoy debating as much as I do. There's a host of people in there. We're trying to grow that Discord channel and get a debate going, basically rotating at all times during the day. So if you'd like to be a part of that, make sure to join. All people are welcome, regardless of your position. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, it does not matter. You are welcome in the Discord server. So without further ado, let's get into it. Chat, make sure to be active today. All right.
All right, got to get into this like weird debate. We're in a weird time. Everything is a new era. We're just in a new era. I don't know what era it is that, you know, Taylor Swift is getting booed. I don't know what era it is that I'm finding myself agreeing with people on the left about a lot of things and disagreeing.
That tells you a lot. She finds herself agreeing with people on the left a lot and disagreeing with people on the right a lot.
With some people on the right about some things. But this Tucker Carlson versus Piers Morgan clip really gets down to, I think we're just choosing different realities. Like, something's splintering in the universe. We're all just splintering and going, okay, I either see things like this or I see things like that. And I've never heard something that is so non-controversial to state that is being received so controversially. And I have a relationship with Piers Morgan, as in like,
I'm ready for a play on emotions.
Done his show, he's done mine. And I actually want to say at the jump of this, no insult to Piers Morgan here, because
No insult to him, but I am about to call him evil.
I think just by hosting both sides of the debate on Gaza and Israel, he has done a tremendous service on his show. But this clip is alarming, okay? Find the thing that Tucker Carlson says here that's wrong, okay? I'll check the chat. Maybe it's crazy. Maybe I just can't hear it right. Take a listen.
If you're intentionally killing civilians, you probably shouldn't beat your chest and brag about it. You know, maybe you could make the
I agree with that.
Maybe you make the case that we had to do it or whatever, but you should.
I agree.
You should weep, and that's evil, and you should just say it's evil. And I know it's really threatening to.
Is it evil, though?
Ben Shapiro to say that or whatever, but
Is it evil?
to kill civilians on purpose? Yeah, it is. I think it is.
Really?
Kids and children. Well, how is it not actually?
In a war?
Yeah. So I'll explain this real quick, because Candace Owens is about to go on a major play of emotions, talking about she's about to beat her chest and say, it's always evil to kill women and children, no matter the context. It's always evil to kill women and children, no matter who you are, where you are, or when you are. It's always evil to kill children. Blanketly immoral. Okay, so let's get into it. So that's the rule. It is blanketly immoral to kill women and children, even during a war. Okay, so let's test that theory out. You see a child. That child is pointing an RPG at you, a rocket-propelled grenade. You have a squad of men with you, and that RPG is pointed directly at your position. You have a sniper rifle, it's pointed at the child. What do you do? Do you get blown up by an RPG, or do you shoot the child? Personally, I'm preserving my life. Okay, how about this? It's a woman. She's pointing the RPG at you. What do? Oh, you shoot her, right? Okay, how about this? The child has an RPG, and he's pointing it at a group of 50 civilians. What do? You neutralize the threat. Okay. It's a woman. She's doing the same thing. It's 100 civilians now. What do? You neutralize the threat. Okay. So we've now established that there are situations where killing women and children is justified. Okay. Now let's imagine this. Terrorists have broken into your country and killed over 1,000 of your people. Okay? You need to neutralize that threat. They, every single day, are shooting rockets into your country. You need to neutralize that threat. They hide behind women and children. They embed themselves in densely populated urban areas, and they shoot from them. What do? You neutralize the threat. There might be some civilian collateral, and it's sad, and it shouldn't happen, and we should try to avoid it as much as possible. But the matter of fact is that in modern armed conflicts, civilians, including women and children, die. It's unfortunate, but it's happened in every armed conflict in modern human history. All of them. Okay? How about World War II? The Nazis were unjustifiably murdering millions of innocent people on the basis of nothing more than their characteristics. They're black, they're disabled, they're Jewish. Murdering them, starving them, torturing them, experimenting on them. What do? Let them keep doing it? They're now also invading sovereign countries and mass murdering the people in those countries, taking their territories. Some of them are your allies. Do you sit by and let it happen, or do you get involved? They've now sided with the Imperial Japan, which has just bombed your Pacific Fleet and killed civilians in your country. What do? Do you sit by and let it happen? Or do you go to war with the Axis powers? Personally, I think you should go to war with the Axis powers, right? Obviously. But civilians are going to die. 600,000 innocent civilians died in Berlin, Germany during World War II. Was that an evil war simply because civilians died in it, women and children? Or was it a justified armed conflict? Was it a just and righteous war? Personally, I think it was a just and righteous war. We fought against evil, and unfortunately, some civilians died. Now, let's look at Israel on the other hand, because she's going to relate this back to Israel. Tucker Carlson says that this statement is damaging for people like Ben Shapiro. Okay. Israel drops leaflets for civilians. Those leaflets contain evacuation orders, safe zones, evacuation routes, etc., etc. They're also a warning. We're going to bomb this area soon. Get out. They also make mass phone calls to civilians. So they'll call every phone in a building when they're about to bomb it because there are terrorists embedded inside. They send out mass text messages to Palestinians in buildings that they're about to bomb, telling them to leave because the building will soon be bombed, right? And that's at the risk of the terrorists now also know that you're about to bomb them. It's not just the civilians that know. You're also now potentially losing your legitimate military target there. But for Israel, bombing the munitions and rendering the equipment that Hamas was using inoperable is enough for them. Even if they don't kill the civilians, even if they don't kill the terrorists, even as long as the civilian lives are preserved. They also roof knock, which is where they drop small munitions on roofs, okay, to warn people to get out of the building if they don't have time to send phone calls or text messages or whatever, or drop leaflets. And we know that works because there are countless videos of people outside of buildings before they're bombed recording all the videos you've seen of buildings getting bombed. How would those people know to record that specific building at that specific time? Well, it's because Israel either sent out a mass phone call or mass text message, or they roof knocked the building, giving the civilian time to leave the building and record it. Obviously. Okay. So let's go back to the RPG analogy that I mentioned earlier, where the child is pointing an RPG at you, or the child is pointing an RPG at a bunch of civilians. Obviously, you neutralize the threat and take the child out before they're able to mass kill people. Obviously. Okay. Hamas shoots missiles at Israel every single day, or at least they were during the war. Every single day. Those missiles are pointed at Israel's child. And they're actually indiscriminate bombings, right? Israel shoots missiles at Gaza in a very precise manner. Hamas rockets are not guided. They're imprecise by nature. And by nature of being imprecise and not targeted, the bombing on Israel is indiscriminate. Okay? So you now have a situation where there's missiles pointed at your children, and it's your women, and in order to stop those people from killing your women and children or risking the lives of your women and children, you might have to risk that some of their women and children die. What do? You obviously defend yourself. So I think we've, in a pretty roundabout way, explained that killing civilians or killing women and children, especially in a time of war, is not always evil or blanketly evil, which is exactly what Candace Owens wants you to think. She's playing on emotions. She very starkly says killing women and children is always evil, no matter the circumstance. Clearly, that's not the case, right? We've already found examples where it's probably pretty justified to kill women and children, right? She's playing on your emotions. It's very easy to say that, right? If you're not thinking about the actual issue and you introduce no nuance into the situation.
We can call it whatever you want. How is it right to kill women and children?
Yeah, so I don't know how, but this clip gets taken out.
Wait, you guys can't hear me? Don't tell me. There's no way you guys can't hear me. Hold up. What do you mean you can't hear me? We're just going to get it
Splintering and going, okay.
Owens broken into your country and killed over 1,000. What do you mean you can't hear me? Nitpicky, but can't really hear you over her. Let's just bump my mic up a little bit then. How's that? Is that a little better? Is that better? Let's see. All right. No, she didn't explicitly call me evil. She called anyone who justifies wars that kill civilians evil. Is there a stream delay? There might be. There probably is a little bit.
Yeah, so I don't know how, but this clip gets taken out and it starts going viral, and people tend to have a perspective that it's not potentially, even just asking the question, he says, is it evil during wartime to target innocent, even asking that question to me.
Israel's not targeting innocent civilians. Israel is not targeting innocent civilians, obviously. If they were targeting innocent civilians, they wouldn't be shipping in 200 trucks full of humanitarian aid, mostly food and water, every single day. They wouldn't be providing electricity to the Gaza Strip. They wouldn't be dropping leaflets. They wouldn't be sending out mass SMS. They wouldn't be sending out mass phone calls. They wouldn't be roof-knocking buildings to warn civilians prior to the attack, right? Obviously.
I can't wrap my brain around it. I can't wrap my brain around the level of propaganda that is trying to marry America to the state of Israel in so much that they are now trying to convince us that bombing innocent civilians isn't always the wrong thing to do. And it really, like I said, is a stark contrast to the upbringing that
It's not always the wrong thing to do. There are obviously situations where killing civilians is justified.
Had when we learned that these sorts of things were patently wrong. It's the entire reason why we had to create the, why we have the ICC is to make sure situations like this can't happen. And so I was so shocked, and I want to be clear, when we talk about, on both sides of this, when we talk about innocent hostages or you talk about innocent children, any harm being brought to either side is sad. And it's wrong. But it is amazing that we've spent 2 years being gaslit, watching children be.
Hold up. We're just going to get this audio right. Test. How is my audio, guys? Am I very quiet? Testing. All right, we're just going to do it anyway.
It's the entire reason why we had to create the, why we have the ICC is to make sure situations like this can't happen. And so I was so shocked, and I want to be clear, when we talk about, on both sides of this, when we talk about innocent hostages or you talk about innocent children, any harm being brought to either side is sad. And it's wrong. But it is amazing that we've spent 2 years being gaslit, watching children being blown up, watching women being blown up, watching kids crying, watching kids starving. And all of a sudden, Western media is in a full launch, propagandist launch, because a hostage was released, and the hostage, without question, was clearly starved, has lost a ton of weight. And there's headlines everywhere about it. Everybody's speaking about it. And it's like, this is the reason, why we have to understand that we have to get involved. Trump came out and said he looks like a Holocaust victim. Okay. And I'm just wondering, where was everybody's voices last year when everyone from UNICEF to every organization in the world that I can think of said the children in Gaza are being starved. We saw the images.
The children in Gaza are not being starved. They're on a 3,000 calorie per day per person diet. If you go to the to UNRWA's website, they're the UN Humanitarian Relief Agency for Palestine. They're the only territory in the entire world that has their own dedicated humanitarian relief agency. Okay, if you go to their website and you look at the amount of trucks that have crossed through the Karim Shalom crossing, which is in Israel, it is 150 to 300 trucks per day. And we're talking like 18-wheelers packed full of food and water for the people of Gaza. But they are, in some cases, still starving, right? Why are they still starving? Oh, I know why they're still starving in some situations. It's because Hamas is doing that thing that they've been doing for the past 10 years where they steal that food, they steal it at gunpoint, and then they sell it back to the Palestinians so they can buy more guns. Right. Oh, man. Who would have thought of that? Right? But if the Palestinians aren't getting any food at all, this war has been going on for well over a year now, please explain to me how it is that there are fat Palestinians. I see videos on Twitter every single day of extremely overweight, especially women, in Gaza. All right? They're not starving. And if they are starving, it's because Hamas is intentionally depriving them of food. Selling them food at exorbitant rates when they don't have any money. It's not because Israel isn't feeding them, right? It's because Hamas is screwing them over.
Of these children being starved and crying. And everyone was quiet. Nobody cared, okay? So I'm just going to show you this CNN report that came out last year that, for whatever reason, didn't generate the same amount of outrage. Take a listen.
66K children born in 2024, yep. There was not even enough people killed in Gaza to outpace the birth rates. The worst genocide in human history.
Hospitals across Gaza are full.
That's a good point. I also don't see why it became our responsibility to feed, house, clothe, or take care of our enemies' personal hygiene. Israel does not have an obligation to feed the Gazans, to provide them electricity, to provide them with water. Right? Just like you said, when did it become the responsibility of the attacked nation who is fighting a defensive war to also take care of the civilians that belong to the enemy during that war? When did that become their responsibility? Whenever.
Of malnutrition cases, doctors say, needing special care that simply does not exist. Yunus is 9 years old. His mother takes off his t-shirt to show the pain.
Wait, let's see what his name is. Is this the kid that has like cerebral palsy that prevents him from eating? Hey, thanks Scott Moore. I appreciate it. No, it was this kid. I gotta turn off my ad blocker. How do I do that? Where? Oh my God. I'm gonna lose my mind. It was this kid. This kid, where is it? This kid right here. Look, see this. Check this out. here's a great example of the bullshit these people are pushing right here. Emaciated Gazan children bear witness to Israel weaponizing hunger. The Daily Saba. Let's check it out. This kid has cerebral palsy. Right? Yeah, he was sick with a disability, not starvation. Yeah. Well, he is starving, right? This kid has cerebral palsy, but the cerebral palsy doesn't allow him to eat. And look at this fat chick right behind him. Look at this. You're telling me these women ain't eating? Oh, I don't believe that. Hell no. This woman hasn't missed a meal in the past 10 years. Neither has this one. Look at this. You're telling me there's not enough food for this kid? Is it because this woman's eating his food? She's stealing his rations or what? Look at that. She has 2 chins. There's no way. There's no way you're telling me that this kid is starving because he doesn't have food when we got this going on in the back. Look at this. How is no one else starving? So let's actually just reverse image search this. Oh crap. I messed it up. Oh, how do you image search stuff? Oh, here we go. Sorry, I'm a boomer, guys. Thank you for the sub, Fadi. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Middle East Online. Hold up. Let's search it with. Here we go. This image is a patient with cerebral palsy at Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza. Cerebral palsy, CP, is a group of disorders that affect a person's ability to move and maintain balance and posture. In Gaza, individuals with CP face significant challenges, particularly due to the ongoing conflict and strain on healthcare. So let's see. This guy was like unable to eat. I gotta find like where it's at. He just like his cerebral palsy had advanced so terribly that he was like unable to digest food. But let's see if we can just search this image of this kid that Taylor, or no, not Taylor, Candace is talking about here. Let's see what we find. Yo, what's going on in chat? Nothing comes up for this specific kid. We'll keep watching.
Eunice is 9 years old. His mother takes off his t-shirt to show the painful evidence of malnutrition and extreme dehydration. She says he was healthy until they were displaced multiple times, from northern Gaza to Rafah to a beach area where she says they don't even have a tent.
She doesn't look like she's missed a meal. How come she's fed? How is she so fed and he's not? Maggie Concert, thank you so much for the sub. Tell me this. How is she so well fed? She's clearly in a healthy state. And it requires, TW, thank you for the sub. It requires more to feed her. Her caloric intake is higher than that child's. In order to keep that child fed, he's 9 years old. He probably has a required caloric intake of like 400 calories a day. Let's look it up. What's the average caloric intake for a 9-year-old boy? That can't be accurate. 1,400. Okay, fine. 1,400 calories. Let's see. Okay, 1,400 calories for a male 4 to 8 years old. We'll call that We'll call that 9. Let's see. Average caloric intake. Actually, how about this? Let's look up. Bare minimum caloric intake, 9-year-old boy. Yeah, 1400. Okay. Bare minimum caloric intake. What do you guys think? Like probably 30-year-old 30-year-old woman. 1,600 to 2,200 calories per day. So she requires more calories to maintain her figure than that kid does. She's a woman, he's a man. He's 9 years old. He's an adolescent. He requires a lot of calories, more than a normal-sized full-grown woman. That is not true. We just looked it up, and that's not true.
Food was no longer available, his mother says. There were bad living conditions and
he requires about 1,400 calories to maintain, and she requires 1,600 to 1,600 to 200 to 2,200. But she looks perfectly fine. She got some cheeks on her.
polluted water.
He definitely has some kind of disability that's preventing him from like keeping on weight.
I'm losing my son in front of my eyes. More than 50,000 children require treatment for acute malnutrition, according to the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA.
No, she doesn't look thin.
The entire world, it felt like the entire world looked away. The Western media looked away when these kids were starving to death. And now, all of a sudden, we get back one hostage, which was starving in an area in which we knew that food wasn't going into, and we were gaslit, and we were told that noticing that was anti-Semitism, which is shocking because Palestinians are Semitic. And now, all of a sudden, we get one hostage that is in bad condition, which is not okay. I want to be very clear. My perception of that, any person being starved who has nothing to do, like Tucker said, innocent people, especially women and children, though. And it is like all they want to talk about. It's like they're finally...
Christmas tree, thanks for the sub.
We've got it. And so this, just to be clear to people, is why people see Israel as an ethnic supremacist.
No, I didn't scroll to find one that I like. I scrolled until we weren't looking at Google AI anymore. I looked at the first one underneath AI, which was heart.org.
State. Because what you signal to people over and over again is that if an Israeli is starved, if an Israeli is killed, then it's problematic. But if tens of thousands of children are murdered, or if an entire population is being starved, that's just the cost of war. Okay, that's not good messaging. And there is no amount of social engineering and propaganda that is going to convince me that what happened to the Gazan children is okay. So I've chosen the reality wherever Tucker Carlson is, where we can just plainly call things evil, and we get to say that there's something deeply wrong with our media for trying to turn us into supremacists and for recognizing that what's happening over there is an evil, as we talk about these children like they're just like real estate, like they're a real estate deal. There's no amount of propaganda that's going to transform that. And so this, by the way, is a perfect time to tell you an amazing update for those of you that knew. I'm going on tour in New Zealand and I'm going on tour in Australia. Well, the bad news is that we have to bump that tour to the fall, but the good news is the reason why. So as you guys knew, Australia last year, I had a ton of groups, the ADL, everyone coming after me for saying these plainly obvious things that are just not able to be, in my opinion, argued or manipulated about we needing to protect innocent children. And
it's so funny to me because Candace Owens is also like this America First person. We need to protect innocent civilians. Does that apply? Like, should America be funding this? Like, what? There's just so many plot holes in her logic. It's hilarious. When is it ever been the obligation of the attacked country that is waging a war against their attacker to protect their people? If you started a war with somebody, it is your obligation to protect your people. It's not the obligation of the country that you attacked to protect your people. right? And the irony of this whole situation is it's not Israel attacking Palestinian civilians, it's Hamas using them as shields. It's insane. Like, all I ever hear, oh, Israel bombs hospitals. Oh my God, the hospitals, they bomb hospitals. Okay. And actually, somebody attacked me about it. Name the hospital. What hospital are we talking about? And I had somebody challenge me on this lately. You shouldn't be asking people to name the hospital. That's not a legitimate arguing tactic. Of course it is, because it matters what hospital we're talking about. We're talking about Al-Ali Hospital, right? Is that what we're talking about? Because what happened at the Al-Ali Hospital bombing was initially everyone came out and reported Israel bombs Al-Ali Hospital with a 2,000-pound JDAM and kills 500 people and incinerates the hospital. Oh my God. Oh no. This is terrible. Oh, Israel's so evil because they bombed the hospital. And then what happened? It was a PIJ rocket that killed 50 people. Right? U.S. intel agencies believe hospital blast caused by Palestinian rocket that broke apart after engine failure, right? And then European intelligence agencies did an evaluation. Oh, let me pull it up so you guys can see it. I realize I'm not reacting anymore. Here we go. Oh, U.S. intel agencies believe hospital blast caused by Palestinian rocket that broke apart after engine failure, officials say. And then European intelligence agencies did an evaluation of the strike and found out that it wasn't a 2,000-pound JDAM like they initially claimed. And it didn't kill 500 people. It killed 50. And what's interesting is the Gaza Health Ministry, in order to determine a person dead, needs to pray over the corpse, which obviously didn't happen because they came out and said 500 people were dead 5 minutes after it happened. You telling me you prayed over 500 bodies in 5 minutes? Yeah, right. Right? And then instead of the hospital being incinerated, what actually happened is there's a little pothole in the parking lot, and there was a couple cars that were in the wrong spots. But it doesn't even matter because Israel didn't do it. It was a misfired Palestinian Islamic Jihad missile that killed 50 people. The hospital is still standing. The hospital was unaffected. Absolutely insane. And then you want to talk about Al-Shifa Hospital? Because that's important too. Okay. Israel sieged Al-Shifa Hospital. And then they got booed away by the public, right? So they left. And then they came back. And they sieged Al-Shifa Hospital again. This time they raided Al-Shifa Hospital. What did they find? Hundreds of weapons in drop-down lockers, both below the floors and in the ceilings. Let's see. If I'm not mistaken, they arrested 900 terror suspects inside of the hospital, and 500 of them were confirmed members of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad or Hamas, and they killed 170 terrorists. Sorry, it was 800. IDF claims it killed 170 Hamas terrorists and captured 800 in Al-Shifa Hospital. They found hundreds of weapons. They found anti-tank mines. They found RPGs, rocket-propelled grenades. They found machine guns. Okay? They killed one of the top 10 highest-ranking members of Hamas in the maternity ward. Okay? He had 2 armed bodyguards in an attempt to flee to the courtyard, but he was killed in the maternity ward. If it's not a military installation, why is one of the top 10 highest-ranking members of the military there? Why are there 800 members of the military there? More than 800, sorry. About 970, including the ones they killed. Why are there hundreds of weapons? Why are there anti-tank mines? Why are there rocket-propelled grenades? Why are there machine guns? Why are there regular grenades? What is going on here? It's almost like it's a military installation. Weird.
I did, when I was scheduled to tour in Australia, before I even applied for my visa was rejected publicly, again, before I applied, by their minister, Tony Burke. He said I won't let her in because the Zionist Federation of Australia leaders basically said that I was extreme publicly, before I even applied for my visa. And I did, when I was scheduled to tour in Australia, before I even applied for my visa was rejected publicly, again, before I applied, by by their minister, Tony Burke. He said I won't let her in because the Zionist Federation of Australia leaders basically said that I was extreme and that my visa should be canceled. It couldn't have been canceled. I didn't have a visa yet. Long story short, when we actually did apply, it was Tony Burke put his hand in and said, you can't come into this country. And he called me up.
I don't agree with that, but I also don't really care about the rest
Everything.
of
Like it was a stunning document in which I was being accused of being an Islamophobe, an anti-Semite, a racist against black people. I mean, you name it, a self-hating misogynist. It was all in there. Basically, he wanted people to know there's no one I like at all, and that's why I couldn't come into the country. And also, I want to be very clear and even that when we submitted my application, there were also Jewish groups that disagreed with that. So it wasn't just like they disagreed with the Zionist Federation and said, even though I don't like her, I don't like her stance on Israel, she should have a right to speak. So it was, being argued on both sides. But we appealed our case, to the High Court, which is essentially their Supreme Court. And we just heard back that the full bench wants to sit this, meaning the entire court, rather than just getting a judge or getting someone to hear it. They're not only accepting this case, but the full Supreme Court, if you will, of Australia is going to hear this case, which will be coming up soon. And so that case, if you would like to follow it, is something that I'm deeply honored that I am going.
Got anything else to say about Israel?
And so we had already had planned to drop it Valentine's Day and to encourage everybody. It is available.
Okay, we don't care. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to, I'm just going to make a little timeline of kind of the protests that I went to and some of the craziest things that happened to me after this anyway. I figured I'd do it on stream so you guys can watch. This includes assaults, when I got bear sprayed, them beating the crap out of me with shields, the Palestinian encampment at UCLA. I had a gun pulled on me at Berkeley, professors saying they're going to participate in violence, like different riots that broke out. There was a medieval battle essentially at UCLA at like 4 a.m. on April 30th. So we're going to go through all of that stuff. It's super interesting stuff, and it is the craziest shit you will ever see. I promise you. So we're going to watch some of that stuff. I'm going to make a kind of a timeline of everything that went down. I haven't had the opportunity to do this yet. So we're just going to kind of go through every tweet that I made back then that has a video attached to it. And we're just going to go through it all. And we'll play the videos on stream and I'll explain to you guys what happened in the situation. But we're going to be looking at like brutal assaults. We're going to look at situations where I was false imprisoned. We're going to look at just a ton of stuff. A lot of my undercover work, which is very interesting. Did she ever address Cam? Who? Okay. So we're just going to go through some of this stuff. Okay. Okay, today I snuck into the UCLA Gaza protest camp on public property, and I was forcefully removed by at least 50 protesters. So we're going to look at this.
Walk away.
I don't know. It's public space. I don't need to walk away. You guys are trying to intimidate me away.
Why do you want to be here?
Why not? I'm a journalist. I'm documenting.
You have a place 1, 2, 3, step.
This is public property.
1, 2, 3, step.
There's plenty of campus
Up the
Do you want to
stairs.
push me up these stairs? Go for it.
1, 2, 3, step.
1, 2, 3, step.
This isn't that crazy, but we're just gonna plop that in the We're just gonna plop that in the document, just for our timeline purposes. Okay, so we just basically have to sort everything by like when it happened. Okay, we'll X that post out, drop it in here. Let's see, what time was that? April 29th. Okay, April 29. At what time was that? Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. April 29, 2024. Drop that right there. Okay, let's see what else happened. Okay, this was with the protest security guards, the encampment security guards. This is an interview. You'll notice like this stuff starts off kind of boring and then it really ramps up.
This guy's
What's up, guys?
fake engagement.
No, we're not allowing people to, allowing media in or anything, so...
Well, it's public. It is public space.
Yeah, but we're still gonna have to ask you to leave, please.
You can ask me, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do it. Just to be clear with what we're doing.
You're going to just need to be able to leave.
I can leave, but it is public property, and I think I'll remain.
Okay, I understand that, but you need to leave.
Why do I need to leave?
Out of my face.
Why do I need to leave?
Okay, we're just gonna stand here then.
Okay, so they tell me that I have to leave. And then when I don't, they resort to forcefully removing me. So we'll start here. Believe that was April 29 too. Why can't I type? Hello? Oh God. Hey, Jazz, thank you so much for the sub. All right, let's see what happened next. Oh, no, that was April. I think that was actually on the 29th, but whatever. Oh, these seem to be kind of out of order. These don't seem to be in the proper order at all, actually. Oh, well, we'll just go with it. So theatric. Protest guard blocks riot police and then prays in front of them. So
right now, this is California Highway Patrol lined up. You can see there's a protester.
Actually, I think we actually I think we actually might have a timeline actually made up. Let me look through my Google Docs real quick. I think we might have one made up that we can just look at. We can see if there's anything missing. Let's see. Violence, suspect. Did I make it before Syria fell or after Syria fell? Because that's where we're at now in my docs. Pardon, Sparta, Cash Patel. Time. And did I make it in this? Let's see. Let me actually. Let's see what I have. Maybe I have shared it. I know it's in here somewhere, guys. Hey, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. The real Sao, the real SAW or SAU. I'm Lebanese and I would like to have a chat with you. I'm very pro-Israel. Hey, you should definitely send me a DM on Instagram or on Discord. I would love to interview a pro-Israel Lebanese person. Absolutely. We should definitely talk. Let's see. You know, maybe it was not on this account that I... Let me check my phone, see if I can find the doc where I said everything. Actually, I know exactly where I can find it. What was the name of this guy who asked me at UCLA? Somebody at UCLA asked me for a timeline. Yes, I found him. Okay, the link should be here. Oh my god, I put them all in an email rather than... Okay. I don't know why I did that instead of just putting them in a Google Doc, but... Okay, I'm gonna put them in a Google Doc right now and we'll go through it. Okay. All right, we got him in the Google Doc. All right, so let's just go through some of this stuff. All right, so it starts on 425. Oops. What on earth did I do? Okay, there we go. All right. So it starts on 425. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. I'm white, so I shouldn't be here.
You're just a white person. You're a white person. We don't like white people. Free Palestine!
We don't like white people. All right, let's see what this one is. Video. Okay, this is where I'm talking to like their little security outside their encampment when it was really small. Okay, so I have video of me speaking to the liaison over there. Well, actually not speaking to the liaison, rather. They wouldn't talk to me, but I did, however, talk to the police over here, and they told me that I am free to walk in as I please. So I'm just gonna scoot on by. Hey, thank you, Nick, for the sub.
Can't do that, dude. It's public property. It's public property. I'm free to walk in. Yes, for sure.
For the general safety of the students, I understand what you're saying.
And it's law that I'm allowed to go in.
I understand that students here.
I'm not going to harm anyone.
I know it's just about to do with doxing and safety of students who are being suspended.
But it's public property. If they didn't want to get suspended, they probably shouldn't do something they're not supposed to do on public property. Man, I'm good. All right, let's see. Let's see what this is.
Who funded all of this anyway?
Are you kidding me? Oh, this is when I went into their encampment. So basically what I did here is I went undercover inside their encampment and I took pictures of everything on the inside, all their like communist graffiti and their books and all that. And then I went into the middle. I had a GoPro strapped to my chest and my mic was down my pants. And I pulled it out and walked in the middle and I was like, hey, who's funding this anyway? And they actually started to answer me because I didn't think that anyone could get past their security. It was just basically they were wristbanding. So if you knew somebody inside, you could get a wristband. You had to know somebody inside, a friend that could vouch for you. Then you'd get a wristband, just a red glossy wristband. I guess they didn't realize that I could buy them at the same place they bought them. So I went to Staples and bought them. And then I just got in and, I took pictures of everything. And then I exposed myself.
Who funded all of this anyway?
Are you kidding me?
Wait, we don't lock him.
You guys are locked around me? How would you even expect me to leave? That's gotta be illegal. Fully false imprisoned. That's gotta be illegal. Thank you for joining the Discord, guys. The Real SAU, thank you for joining the Discord. We can do an interview in the Discord there whenever you're available to do it, honestly. Do you live in Lebanon? And oh my god, here comes fucking Gabe. God damn it, Gabe. All right. Let's keep going.
Illegal. That's restriction of movement.
Yeah, restriction of movement is a violation of California law as well as false imprisonment, which is exactly what they did. Let's see, what's this one? Oh, this is the other angle. So this is when they fully surrounded me and they did 1, 2, 3 push and moved me out. I'm in the middle of this. I'm like right here. So ridiculous. Let's see what's next. And this is my body camera POV of that same thing. You didn't do anything, Gabe.
Oh, no, it's public space.
I would just like to make public, and you guys can do with this information. Actually, never mind. I'm not going to say it.
Just walk away.
I don't know. I'll just say this. Gabe has something very suspicious about him. It might be the day he was born. It might not be the day he was born.
Just walk away.
I don't know. It's public space. I don't need to walk away. You guys are trying to intimidate me away.
Why do you want to be here?
Why not? I'm a journalist. I'm documenting.
1, 2, 3, step.
1, 2.
This is what you guys saw earlier, where they were like pushing me up the stairs and stuff. So this is a professor. Okay, this isn't actually really funny. So this is a professor at UCLA, and this is after they had established their second protest encampment. And basically, what happened is she's outside the encampment at like 10 a.m. and they're all like doing a little march thing, and they're like they have their Starbucks and whatever. Even though they're supposed to be protesting Starbucks, I'm pretty sure. Or no, it was Dunkin' Donuts. That's what it was. They're supposed to be protesting Dunkin' Donuts. Hey, thank you so much for the sub, Nariyat. Anyway, so she's basically saying like the police at this point had formed a line around the encampment and wasn't letting anyone in or out. And so she's on the phone. This is a professor, mind you, with somebody. I don't know who it was, but she's like, we need to tell everyone about this. We need to get it out there. I tried to bring food and water to these people, and they can't get food and water. They're starving them. This is cruel and unusual punishment, blah, blah, whatever. So I flew my drone over the encampment, and they had stockpiles of food and water. It was crazy. So she was lying. She's like spinning a propaganda narrative and trying to distribute it out to people, just directly lying, professor. Hey, Cam, I just want to say thank you for standing up for what you believe. Keep supporting Israel. The anti-Semitism of October 7th has caused to resurface is despicable. Thank you. Yeah, of course. All right. We're slowly going to make Gabe pro-Israel, too. We're working on it.
Part of their justification is that it is a so-called illegal or unpermitted, what's the adjective? Unlawful. Assembly. It's an unlawful assembly. And apparently Michael Beck came and delivered that message earlier.
Michael Beck is the head of the UCPD.
Even if this is unlawful, which I, of course, don't think it is, and that will be adjudicated legally.
Yeah, you're not a cop. It is illegal. If the police deem it an unlawful assembly, it's illegal. It doesn't matter what you think.
This is unlawful, which I, of course, don't think it is, and that will be adjudicated legally. You cannot deny people food and water in an effort to get them to do something against their will, because they say, oh, they're free to leave if they're hungry. You cannot use a mechanism of torture to make people do something against their will. So Student Affairs seems to be trying to communicate about this, but if we could start getting this out on social media and maybe like reaching, I assume that it is all kinds of legal violations and a human rights violation, and they're hoping to get away with it.
Human rights violation, bro. Are you going to take it to the Supreme Court because the police formed a line around the encampment and they won't let food or water in, even though they already have stockpiles of food or water inside?
Because it's quiet and us just at this little yellow tape barrier, but I think we should make this very loud and shame the administration publicly into helping students, because we've said we don't need to go in. We just want the food and water to go in. You can inspect it, right? All of that. So if there are ways to get that out, that would be very helpful. Okay.
They tried to block my camera. It didn't work.
By the way, only police can declare something an unlawful assembly. Okay. Michael Beck has no authority.
Okay.
Thank you. Because unless he suddenly got a badge.
And look who's that. There's a bunch of cops all around. So, like, obviously the cops have declared it unlawful assembly.
What about our faculty members who still have direct personal lines to upper level admin?
We got LAPD right back here and UCPD.
Yeah, and I tried to put it on the legal.
I'm from New York, lived in LA for the past 2 years, now I live in Seattle.
Thread, but okay, I can ask Sharina Gay. Okay. I'll call Gay. Okay.
Just ridiculous. This is the same thing. She's like,
yeah. My name is Hannah Powell.
I interviewed her. I forgot.
Yeah. My name is Hannah Powell. I'm a faculty member here at UCLA, and I'm standing with many other wonderful faculty members from the law school, from the School of Public Affairs. We have brought food and water to our students who are inside the encampment, and we have been told by both law enforcement and student affairs officers that we are not allowed to bring any food and water in.
Haven't you guys, like when the last camp was up, haven't you guys like been preventing people from going into the encampment before as well?
There have actually been some really nice detailed media accounts of that, and if you want to look at them, I encourage you to look them up.
I went into the camp and I was forcibly removed with physical force.
Man,
seems like a bit of a double standard, especially considering these people could just walk out at any time and get food, right?
I'm so good at my job. Holy shit. I miss this stuff. I miss this stuff. People are idiots. Like, how do you even get a job as a professor? Look, and this is when I flew my drone over the camp. She's saying they have no food and water. Look at this. There's an entire pack of water. There's like 10 people inside the camp, by the way. Like literally 10 people at this point. Here's an entire pack of water. Who knows what they have inside the tents? And then let's see. Let's go to another picture. Oh, where is it?
Miss Hannah.
I know I had another one. Yeah, here it is right here. Look at this. Here's another angle from over the encampment. See, there's like not very many people in here at all. It's like just a couple people. But look at this. A whole thing full of food over here. You've got their security vests. You've got snacks. You got a pack of water over here. It looks like some cans of something here. And then, hold up. Like just stockpiles of stuff. And they're like, yo, we don't have any food or water. Oh no. What are we going to do? We don't have any food or water. The food and water in question, by the way, was like Dunkin' Donuts and coffee. This is when somebody
Nazis
said,
like you are not.
I got called a Nazi by a dude in a kafia. This is the same event here. I got called a Nazi and said I'm not safe.
The Nazis like you are not safe here.
And look, notice how the security does nothing.
Wow. What does that mean? Are you going to beat me up? It means you're a fucking Nazi. And if there's any justice, people like you would not be allowed in public. The Nazis.
Wow, what are you going to do? Beat me up? God, these people are such a joke. Some violence against the police here. Why even do this? Through his hat. Just the stupidest stuff, man. Let's see what else we got in here.
Dude.
I tried to walk in. They've taken this building over. I tried to walk into it.
Dude, come on, bro. Blocking me from a public building?
Like, look at this.
Bro. It's a public building. You guys are...
It says, bro, come on to me. I'm glad Trump is in charge. This I got in the building. I went through the back entrance to that building I was just trying to get into.
Get the fuck out. Don't touch my stuff.
Gotta get the face. I love that. Turns right around.
How about not?
What's it?
How about not?
How about?
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, all right, guys. We've been live for about an hour now. I think we'll hop off the stream and just yeah. I think we'll hop off. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. I really do. And we will be live again maybe tomorrow or the day after. I appreciate you all for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. Wait, make sure to join the Discord. The link is below this video, this live stream. Join that Discord. Head over there. If you love debating as much as I do, there's a lot of debates that happen over there, so hop over there. You also get the opportunity to talk to me. See ya.